California has an infrastructure plan pursuant to the Government Code, Title II, Division 3, Part 3, Chapter 2, Article 2, quite a mouthful, creates the California Infrastructure Plan. And Government Code Section 13100 provides that it's the intent of the legislature in enacting Article 2 that the state is required to establish and annually update a 5-year plan for funding infrastructure in the state. And that annual plan must include input by the legislature. Additionally, the plan is required to identify state infrastructure needs and to set out the priorities for state funding. The plan doesn't need to identify specific infrastructure projects to be funded, but it has to be sufficiently detailed in order to provide a clear understanding of the type and the amount of infrastructure that's to be funded, as well as the programmatic objectives that need to be achieved by this funding. Section 13100 also provides that the infrastructure plan is intended to complement the existing state budget process for the appropriation of funds for infrastructure, and it provides a comprehensive guideline for the types of projects that are to be funded through the state budget process. Section 13101 defines the term infrastructure, and Section 13102 requires the governor to submit annually a proposed 5-year infrastructure plan to the California legislature. This plan is required to cover a 5 fiscal year period, beginning with the fiscal year that's the same one that's covered by the governor's budget, with which the infrastructure plan is being submitted. The plan also has to contain a whole bunch of specified information for the 5 years that it covers, such as infrastructure requested by state agencies, aggregate funding for transportation, for public school needs, as well as instructional facility needs for our higher education institutions. And the infrastructure plan also has to contain the estimated cost of providing this infrastructure, as well as a proposal for funding the infrastructure that's identified, the sources of the funding, and evaluation of the impact of the new state debt attributable to the infrastructure plan, as well as recommended specific projects for funding. Also, Section 13103 requires a state agency to specify how its requested infrastructure is consistent with the state planning priorities, and it also authorizes the governor to order any entity of state government to assist in the preparation of this infrastructure plan. Section 13103.5 allows the Department of Finance to perform audits based on it deeming it necessary of the allocations or expenditures that are made. And then finally, Section 13104 provides that it's the intent of the legislature that the proposed infrastructure plan be considered by the legislature in consideration of the annual state budget.